I just had very first meeting with mortgage broker, and I'm just kicking myself a little bit. Those prices have jumped about $50,000 to $75,000 from when I was looking back in April. It's only gonna get worse. And hey guys, honestly, hold on, let me take these out. All right, well, welcome to another episode of my Financially Secure series. Today, I'm just gonna tell you guys how much debt I've paid off in 2023. I'll also include some November numbers, but it's kind of crazy. Just right off the bat, I'll let you guys know I have paid off like everything. So that included, I haven't paid off everything. So the numbers for 2023 include 3 different major categories for me. If you want to watch the first one where I go into exactly how much I owe for everything, you can. I will recap quickly here. So I had 3 main debts back in like April, May, whenever that was. That was my student loan debt, my credit card debt that turned into a line of credit because I transferred money over to that because it was a lower interest. And then I had $1,000 left still owing to my parents that they had lent me. So all in all, if I were to include everything, my debt would have been like an extra 10 grand. But I didn't include that in the original numbers, so I'm just gonna go off of that number that I said in my first video, which was I started off with $70,000. I'm gonna mess this up. I don't know why I cannot pronounce words properly. $70,530.91. Currently, I am sitting at $52,457.63. So I have paid off $18,073.28 of my debt. So that would be April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8 months. In 8 months, I have paid $18,000 off of my debt. It's kind of wild. When I quickly did the calculations, I just never thought I'd be here at this point. I am projecting to pay off my line of credit in about 2.5 to 3 months. It really all depends. I do get a week off in December. I should have vacation pay. I don't know if it will cover all of it. I'm hoping for some extra bonuses, maybe just some little bit of extra money, which I'm all going to use to dump towards my line of credit. In terms of my student loans, trying to find the better lighting here. In terms of my student loans, I am not very concerned with paying them off at the moment. As in, I'm not concerned in putting extra money towards it because it is 0% interest. I would rather use any extra money that I can towards my down payment or investing or just like putting in a high interest savings account kind of thing instead of dumping it in there. I did get a chance to talk to a mortgage broker. It was very interesting, kind of kicking myself in the butt for not having spoken to one sooner or at the very beginning of my paying off my debt. They could have run the numbers with the debt that I had at the time to see what I would be eligible for a mortgage. And then I could have really reassessed or determined how much I would have needed to have paid down by now, whereas I've just been focusing on paying it off, which is like a huge relief off my shoulders. But if you've been watching my videos, I've been obsessed with wanting to own my own place, and if I just spoken to someone sooner, I could have had a down payment going for me at the moment, and been buying a place sooner while also paying off my debt. So I spoke to a mortgage broker and they roughly let me know what I am looking at in terms of insurance rate. which currently is at a 5.5% interest rate, 5-year insured. Keep in mind, I am all new to this mortgage stuff, so I'm not honestly 100% sure on what everything means. But we did some calculations. She asked me roughly what idea ballpark I was looking for in terms of a mortgage. And I said, 450 is kind of what I've been seeing condos in the area that I want to buy in. Those prices have jumped about $50,000 to $75,000 from when I was looking back in April. It's only going to get worse. And even though I can wait out for lower interest rates, the trouble with doing that is once those interest rates go down, a lot of people are going to jump back into looking into the market, and it's going to start bidding wars and possibly, jumping into a place that I don't really want just because I want to get into something. Yes, they said that interest rates might come down, most likely will come down, but then I might not be able to find a place that I want. They also said that I had about 120 days before closing to potentially have a lower interest rate, like shop around. So it's not completely set in stone, but the calculation that she did off of a $450,000 mortgage with at least 5% down, which is $22,500, so $22,500 down. That leaves me with a mortgage payment of $2,700 a month, not including the strata fee and property taxes. If I go with a newer build, the strata fee will be lower. This is where it really irritates me, is that if I go for the new build, it's a lower strata fee but a higher cost. If I go for an older building, which is a lower cost, the strata fee is in some places wild, just absolutely wild for nothing. And these buildings are getting to 15, 20, 30 years old. Their roof is going to need to be replaced soon. There's gonna be stuff that I'm gonna be stuck paying, and I don't plan to live in the condo for maybe more than 2 years. Is my I don't want to be there longer than 5. I want to move on up, want to get a townhouse or whatever, or a regular house, detached house. Going into an older building, which will make it harder to sell in the future, it's just not ideal. It might be what I have to do. I'm honestly in my head calculating my monthly expenses to be around what I've been putting into my line of credit monthly, which was, in November, I paid $3,362.52 in my line of credit. And that was me dumping almost everything extra, barely funding my emergency fund there, living on little less than 1 paycheck a month, and everything else I've just been allocating it to paying off my debt as fast as I can. Honestly, after the meeting, I was very excited. I recorded myself a little bit. I just had very first meeting with mortgage broker, and I'm just kicking myself a little bit having done it sooner, and also just trying to process everything. The biggest thing that I've taken out of that meeting or understood is that my debt, as it stands right now, not excluding my student loan, she was like, oh, that payment is nothing. They're not worried about that at all. But as of right now, it's at $10,625.03. She's like, that's nothing. And I guess in the grand scheme of things of how much debt people have, it's not that much. It's a lot. And it was a lot when it was a lot higher. But damn, if I had just had a meeting maybe right when I started this debt journey, I could have been saving a lot more for my down payment and possibly been able to buy a lot sooner. And honestly, I'm feeling still the exact same way of like, I can't really wrap my head around it. It's absolutely insane. I can't even expect to freaking buy a place and rent it out because no one's gonna want to pay that much money for a freaking old condo. Like, I can't even invest. Like, it's just holy. So I do have a few options to lower the cost, which is increase the down payment, which doesn't take off much off of the monthly costs. Get a co-signer, which I don't have that. There are options. She said that there are banks there are a type of loans that will work with people that went into debt knowing that they were going to, go into a career that had a good paying job. So for example, like a med student, dental hygiene student, a dental student accrue higher student loan costs, but it's not the same as like consumer debt being in, $70,000 alone in just consumer debt. Most of my debt is student loan now. She said that there will be lenders that will work with students or just fresh out of school students, knowing that they're in a career that pays well. If you've never been in a mortgage type of talk with anyone and you're curious as to what information they're looking for, I had to tell her what was in my bank accounts, my savings accounts, if I had any investing accounts, all of my income, roughly how much I make, and my full-time, part-time, my car, year, make, and model, how much my monthly payments were for that, how much my monthly payments for my student loan were. I had to give my address, and if I hadn't lived there, I think in the past, for as long as 3 years, I had to give like my previous address. And then also the names of my employer and start date, hourly wage, hours kind of thing. Because I made so little off of YouTube, she was like, we're just like not gonna include that. That could be down the line when we're doing more. She didn't completely write me off. She didn't write me off at all. I just don't think I'm gonna get enough to get a decent place in the area that I'm looking for, which is, close to work, in the safer side of the town, and in a newer building. I ideally would like a 2-bedroom condo just so that I can use one for an office slash guest bedroom, but I might have to settle with a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, or at least 1.5 baths. And like, I'm fine with that as long as I can get in, but I don't want to be spending like almost $3,500 in monthly expenses, because that's more than one paycheck. That is more than one paycheck for me. That's more than 50% of my monthly income right now. So yeah, on one hand, I am extremely happy that I've paid off all this debt and I only have a little bit to go. Yeah, my student loan debt is kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I'm just paying the minimum monthly right now. There will be a time that I go back to focusing on it hardcore. For me, paying off my student loan, like that student loan amount doesn't like bother me for some reason at the moment, but my line of credit does. And to me, paying that off and being like really close to paying it off, just from the fact of what that line of credit debt means to me, or signifies, or the significance of it, which is like never having enough money to cover all my bills before I started school. Like that amount that I occurred, that 22,000 that I occurred, like that was years of being unhappy, in debt, and struggling. And so paying that off to me really feels like, I don't know, like I've made it, or I've accomplished something that I thought that I never could. Wow, I didn't think I would be getting emotional. And that I did it myself. That's it. I think it's more like I'm doing it myself. Blood, sweat, and tears into paying this debt off. And yeah, it gets me down. That money that I've paid off, that $15,000 that I've paid off in the past 8 months, could have been towards my down payment if I was better with my money. But I can't change the past. It is what it is, and I'm learning from my mistakes, and I'm just trying not to compare myself to other people who are even younger than me or my age, and they're a lot further along in life. It doesn't really help. So yeah, that's an update on how much debt I have paid off in 2023, and kind of a little insight of where I will be going with my money in 2024. I will keep you guys updated on the whole mortgage thing, house hunting. I am aiming for around this time next year to be able to get a place. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos. I'm gonna leave that there. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Bye.